How we doing, everybody? Hello, good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Monster Territory, brought to you by the Foul Territory Network. And that one stunk tonight. I'm gonna be honest. Throughout the night, I'm watching the game. I felt like I had a good feeling throughout the night. We got some news today about the whole Rafael Devers situation. That was looking terrible ever since that happened yesterday in the post-game scrum. Because we got some news. Hey, John Henry, Craig Breslow, Alex Cora, Sam Kennedy, they sat down with Raffy Devers today, had a conversation. And they had good things to say for the most part. It seemed like everyone walked away from the conversation positively. We'll dive into the comments that were made after the reaction to tonight's game. So I felt like, I don't know what it was. I just felt like I had a good feeling throughout the night, and I was thinking, all right, you know what? They're gonna break through at some point. They're gonna come through here. Bullpen will lock it down. They'll win a nail biter in Kansas City. But what do you know? It's like you couldn't even get a little feel good magic. Once again, it gets back to the same old thing. Consistency or consistent inconsistencies. Another one-run loss. 10 one-run losses now on the year. Not really anything from the offense tonight. They came alive, in extra innings, right? 6 hits on the night, 1 extra base hit. Yeah, I feel like this just happens all the time. Offense looks great. You put together a good performance, but they can't find a way to keep it going. And to be honest with you, I feel like I know what the answer is. I'll get to that in a little bit. Great performance from Hunter Dobbins tonight. Give him a lot of credit, man. I would really like to see Hunter Dobbins stick around. I think, sure, last start he was a little bumpy, but whatever. You're going to have your ups and downs. I like what he brings to the table, man. Every fifth day, the guy goes out there, he competes, and he pitches well. Bullpen, for the most part, got it done tonight. But in the end, Sean Newcomb, pitching that late. This is why I feel like, it's hard because Newcomb really helped the Red Sox the other day, right? Gave you 4 innings, kind of saved the bullpen in that game a few games ago. But, it's kind of one of those things where it's like tonight, you really wish you had another high leverage arm. You really wish you had something else to go with, and yeah, they threw their best stuff. You can't really blame the bullpen, really. I think that's more of a nitpick than anything. You use Slayton, you use Chapman, you use Whitlock. Those are your best arms out of the bullpen. Just in the end, it felt like you were an arm short. And that's where the Royals are very strong with their bullpen. They got a lot of good arms back there, man. And also, Michael Lorenzen, shout out to him. Hadn't really been doing much this year, but hey, he took advantage of an inconsistent Red Sox offense. But one more thing before we do get to tonight's sponsor, Connor Wong. Listen, I don't know, man. I don't ever want to talk negatively about players, but I don't know what it is, man. Connor Wong, there's just so many things that I don't know. Like, I'm getting to the point where I would really like to see what a veteran like Yasmani Grandal can do in a part-time role. Carlos Narvaez has clearly taken the job by the horns coming into the year. I was big on Carlos Narvaez. I said he was my most underrated player coming into the year, because this is a guy that I thought could do a few things with the bat. The defense, in my opinion, was better than Connor Wong's across the board. And he really shows you the value that he has when he starts games. I actually took a look at the Red Sox record. I mean, it's not like, obviously we're still early in the year, but it is interesting to me. The Red Sox are now 5-6 when Connor Wong starts, and now they're 15-10 when Carlos starts. So I'll repeat that. Connor Wong, 5-6. Carlos Narvaez, 15-10. It's just a difference, man. Like, I don't know there were so many things with Wong tonight. I'll get to that in a little bit. But before we go any further, we do have a word from tonight's sponsor.
It is complicated enough to figure out what type of car you want, but when it comes to pricing and best time to buy and all of that information that you're looking for, Car Gurus is the only destination that you should be thinking about, Kratz. Why?
Because I don't have to question what the price is. It's going to be there. If the price changes and comes down to where I want it to be, bang, I get a notification. Car Gurus is giving it to me straight, and this is how I want to purchase a car. Not fast. I just want to know what's going on.
With over 4 million listings, CarGurus has more car listings than any other major online automotive marketplace in the US. So you can find the best deal, and it's no wonder SimilarWeb estimated traffic data shows CarGurus is the #1 most visited car shopping site. So you can buy or sell your next car today with CarGurus at cargurus.com. Go to cargurus.com to make sure your big deal is the best deal. That's CARGURUS.com, cargurus.com.
All right. Welcome back. Let's get into it. Here. So, offense tonight, like I said, non-existent on the night. Yeah, Ceddanne Rafaela, he had the extra base hit tonight. Had the double in the 6th inning. Good defense throughout the night from Ceddanne Rafaela. I keep saying it, man. I keep saying it. This is why I like having him in this lineup, because but then again, I could also see the argument against Rafaela at times. But tonight, you know what? He had the lone extra base hit on the night. Good defense out there. He brings you the speed on the base paths. He brings you a lot of value, right? I mean, sure, would you like a guy that could, hit 300 on base at a 375, 550 on the slugging instead? Yeah, sure, you would, of course. But I think Rafaela, he brings you those little things I think winning teams need. We'll see what ends up happening, right? We'll talk about one guy here in just a little bit. But Seti, good game for him tonight. I mean, really, the Red Sox offense didn't come alive until the 11th inning, right? Duran, he had the ground ball. Obviously, you have the ghost runner at second. They had Seti there. Duran advanced him and got him over to third. And then Raffy Devers with the RBI ground out. And that was the lone run. That was it. Raffy Devers ended up challenging the play. He was out. But, hey, you had a chance to close it out. Bottom of the 11th, right? Wong, this is where Wong... this one really got to me, man. You had the wild pitch. As I'm watching that happen, I'm thinking, I let out a sigh when that happened, but I was thinking to myself, it wasn't even Whitlock. Like, yeah, sure, maybe not a great pitch from Whitlock, but in my head, I'm thinking like, listen, and I'm not a professional catcher by any means. You're not going to go see my dopey self go out there and do a better job, but I'm just thinking like, I feel like that's something you should have come up with, right? Pass ball, it wasn't like it was too far outside. I don't know. I think there was a bit of a miscommunication there. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe Wong was expecting something different. Either way, like that one was just like, man, what are we doing here? And then Pasquantino eventually getting the base hit to tie up the game, bottom of the 12th. Biggio had the sack bunt, and then Freddie Fermin with the game-winning hit there. And Wong, he also threw it to second base, and it was a well-timed throw, but the throw was just off. I wonder, and when he threw it, I'm thinking, oh, man, he might actually have this one, all right? And it was just not an accurate throw. And then there was another play in the same inning where on the sack bunt, Bobby Witt, he moved over to third. And I'm thinking, like, you look at where Bobby Witt was, and I'm wondering, I feel like he might have had a chance to get Bobby Witt at third. So I'm not sure. I don't know. But Wong, he just doesn't give me confidence out there. Anytime Carlos Narvaez starts, I feel better about it. That's just me. But not a good night for the offense overall. Wong, sure, he had his mistakes along the way, but at the end of the day, you got to hit the ball, right? And when Seti's the only guy getting an extra base hit, you got to do more there. Like I said, Hunter Dobbins, a great night for him tonight. 6 innings, 5 hits, 0 earned, 6 Ks, led with the 4-seamer and the slider. 5 Ks on the fastball today. He really had the fastball working. He was getting guys, looking at it, swinging at it. He also had 5 whiffs on the slider as well. Was getting some whiffs on the curve and the sweepers too. Just a good, solid outing for Hunter Dobbins, man. He did what he could. Bullpen came in, really shut it down. Aroldis Chapman really liked what he gave you there when he came in. Chapman, honestly, this guy is looking great. You go back to those last couple of years he was having with the Yankees, what was it, 5 years ago. And he was looking like he was at the end of his career. And this guy is just looking fantastic with the Red Sox. I mean, the velocity's up. The splitter is nasty with him right now. he just feels like he's like on another level, and he's 37, 38, whatever it is. He's just looking great. Greg Weissert did run into a little trouble in the seventh inning, had a couple of walks. That's Greg Weissert for you. I think, honestly, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, why is Greg Weissert so up and down? I actually wonder if it's just the windup that he has, the way he sets up. I feel like, the days he's feeling good, you can't hit the guy. But if something's off, then even just a little bit, it can scare you. Had a couple of walks, but he got Connor into the double play, and then got Fermin to fly out. Eighth inning, I got a little nervous there. Justin Wilson, he came in. I thought that was a bit of a weird decision because they brought him in against the lefty Kyle Isbell, who is not really a good bat. And then, because I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, well, India, Bobby Witt, they're going to be coming up. Oh, was this the right guy to bring in at the time? But he struck out Isbell, which to me, that was expected. But then India had the double there, intentionally walking Bobby Witt. And then he was able to get past Quintinos and then Salvi with the ground out. So Justin Wilson, appreciate him battling back there. In the end, though, you got to hit. On the other side of the ball, though, great defense tonight. Alex Bregman, holy cow, what a play from Alex Bregman earlier in the game. I mean, that was in what inning was this? That was in the fourth inning. Holy cow, you had a bit of a shift on Pasquantino. Pasquantino tried to beat that shift, but Bregman made a great dive. Great throw to first. Beautiful. That's why you bring Alex Bregman in to be your third baseman. And that's why Raffy Devers is not your third baseman. Beautiful. Love it. Seti, great catch in the sixth inning. Just making what could be hard catches for other guys out there throughout the game, making them look easy. So, hey, shout out to the defense tonight, minus Connor Wong. In the end, though, like I said, you got to hit. You got to put the bat on the ball. You got to do more there, especially against a guy like Michael Lorenzen, who really, up to this point, hasn't looked amazing overall. So, I see you in the chat. Marco Scudero is my hero. 500 is going to haunt me in my dreams. I just think of Liam Fennessy on Twitter, and anytime he puts that meme, or anytime we're approaching 500, I think of it always makes me laugh. The Liam Fennessy meme, where it's the scientist holding the vial or whatever you call those things, and he says, yes, pure mid. It's like every time, it drives me insane, man. I can't do it. I'm so tired of the 500. I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like I've said this a million times up to this point so far. We've had how many post-game shows now? And every time, it's just, it's like every other game, it feels like offense doesn't show up. I don't know, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. But, I mean, even though, like the loss, that's fresh on everyone's mind right now, I think the biggest story of today was John Henry flying out, going to Kansas City, flying with the brass. Sam Kennedy going there. Craig Breslow going on the road, going to talk to Raffy Devers. And listen, just to get you caught up to speed here, in case you have been sleeping under a rock, just in case, Raffy yesterday had a 10-minute scrum post-game after a win, by the way, saying he didn't want to play first base, not feeling very comfortable with it. Didn't think it was the best decision for him after only being the DH for a couple of months after they moved him off of third base in favor of Alex Bregman. He said they can't expect him to play everywhere. If an outfielder goes down, then he thinks they're going to ask him to play the outfield. Raffy, no one's asking you to play the outfield, my friend. No one will ever ask you to play the outfield. My goodness. Like when I had a whole day to really think about it. I put out a video today on my main channel on the whole thing. I really let things digest a little bit. And I kept thinking about that one line. And I'm thinking like, dude, what are you talking about? What in the world are you talking about? Outfield? I mean, no one, like, what? No one's going to ask you to play the outfield. It was so crazy. That one line kept sticking with me. Just, what? What are you talking about? saying that the front office should do their job, go get another player. Says they went back on their word, said that he would be DHing. And I want to say this right now, and I guarantee there's going to be someone in the chat that disagrees with me because I've been seeing it. I understand the answer, but I just disagree with it respectfully. I don't see this as the Red Sox going back on their word. Tristan Casas got hurt. He got injured. His knee exploded. If he didn't get hurt, and then you say to RAFFY, hey, we kind of want you to go play first, you know, we're gonna move Casas down to the minors or whatever. Okay, maybe that's a little different. But his knee exploded, unfortunately. Sorry to, you know, kind of put it that way, but he got hurt. You didn't expect that to happen. The season is fluid. Every day it's just moving fast. Things happen. You got to make adjustments on the fly. No one's going back on their word. No one's going back on their word. It's because things happen. That's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. You got to make those moves, even if they're difficult ones, especially when you have things that you didn't expect to happen. I don't see it as they went back on their word. You know, people saying, oh, they lied to RAFFY. They didn't lie to him. No one. They said you're going to be the DH, and he was the DH. They didn't expect. They said he's the DH because Casas was playing first base. Well, now obviously that happened. That's not lying. That's just making an adjustment. It's not the same thing. It's like I don't like seeing that answer. It's so tiring to me. It's so just like people just trying to find like something negative, some kind of a loophole or whatever. Like, oh, he's lying. They're lying to him. No one's lying. He ruptured his patella tendon. Did they lie about, or did they expect that to happen? No. No one expected that to happen. I know I've said that like 5 times now, but that's not lying. It just drives me nuts because I keep seeing people saying it. Sorry, I'm getting a little tired over here. It's almost bedtime. Here's my thing. You know what? Let me read the comments, and then I'll get to my opinion. I've been forming it over the last day or so. So, John Henry, Sam Kennedy, Craig Breslow, all together went on the road to Kansas City. They sat down with RAFFY Devers. They met in the manager's office. The events of the day, actually, they delayed Cora's pregame availability by more than an hour. I'm going to say this before I actually get to the comments. Good on John Henry. Good on John Henry. Because this is a guy who has been getting bashed for the last several years. This is what the owner needs to do. When you're having a moment like this, when you're having a pretty hot, heavy, news day, and you got to kind of calm the storm and you got to put out the fire, this is what an owner of an organization needs to do. And I'm glad John Henry did it. I think he deserves a round of applause for that, for getting on the plane, because he didn't have to do that. Guarantee someone out there will still say, oh, he doesn't care. He just did that to make himself look better. No, the guy got on the plane and went to talk to RAFFY when he didn't have to. He could have. He hasn't talked to the media for like 20 years. Okay, that was an exaggeration. Like 5 years now. He didn't have to do that. He could have just stayed back in his nice home, wherever he lives, in his silk pajamas, watching TV. He did not have to go do that. But he did. So I give him a lot of credit for that. So, hold on, let me pull up the article here. And Breslow said, it's probably wise for some of these matters to stay between John and RAFFY, but my understanding is that it was a productive dialogue. There was honest exchange by both sides. I think we're going to walk out of this in a much better place. I'm just making sure there's something else I'm not missing. Cora, he said, I thought it was productive. Obviously, having everybody here and in the same place, it means a lot, not only for us on the ground, but for the players and to RAFFY too. I thought it was good. It was a good conversation. He expressed his feelings. John did the same thing. We talked a little bit. Everybody saw who was here. That carries weight in the clubhouse. Breslow went on to say, we felt like it was important based on the situation that unfolded yesterday to come out here and have an honest conversation about what we value as an organization and what we believe is important to the Boston Red Sox. That being great teammates for each other. We think we had a productive conversation. Based on how things very publicly unfolded yesterday, there was an opportunity to address this and reinforce what we think is important, what has been important to this ownership group, what's important to players, staff, and the front office. We were able to do that, and obviously, RAFFY is a really big, important part of this team. I think it's important these things get addressed. Breslow explained what he considered a good teammate to be. Number one, it's being honest and open with communication. It is recognizing when there is an opportunity to step up, when there's a need for the group to be put above any individual achievement or accomplishment. It's important that gets reinforced given what we need to accomplish. Going on to say, Breslow described the team's plans for the position as secondary to other conversations, with Devers and Cora saying there were no immediate plans for increased work on the field. Conversations will continue. Right now, we're just talking about a possible change of a position. This is where we're at right now. We lost our first baseman. We're exploring every way to improve. Breslow said, these aren't the type of moves that can be made overnight. The initial conversation RAFFY and I had was exploratory nature. RAFFY was clearly frustrated with the situation. My reaction was potentially there was some misunderstanding on the communication or an opportunity to be more clear to provide communication. Hopefully this was a step in the right direction here today. It's unfortunate we're in this situation where we are right now. As you approach every decision, you try to provide as much clear communication as possible. It's my job to always put the priorities of the organization first, but I should also be evaluating every interaction I have with players, and I'll continue to do that. In any case, Breslow said it was honest, and it was an honest, candid exchange between Devers and Henry. Cora, he did touch, I'll get to my comments here in a second, but Cora did touch on the post-game scrum yesterday with RAFFY. It's one of those days you try to avoid because of what happened yesterday. Like I told RAFFY and I said it a million times in Fort Myers, we don't tell players what not to say. We respect them and we respect their opinions. Sometimes we don't agree. Most of the time we do agree. For it to get to this point, it's kind of weird. But the effort they made to get here and to be part of the solution instead of making it a big issue, I think it means a lot. So, there was a lot there, but I think the general consensus with everything from Breslow and Cora, we didn't get comments from John Henry. He did tell Chris Cotillo that he wasn't going to speak to the media. That's actually progress because he hasn't said anything to the media. So John Henry saying he was not going to speak to them, that's actually a step in the right direction, believe it or not. So I've had a whole day to think about this. And listen, at the end of the day, this was my first thought about it, but I really wanted to absorb different opinions from both sides. I still think there's a lot right with both sides, and I think there's things wrong with both sides as well. The organization, they are right to me, I think they are right to ask a player who has played a position that is on the opposite side of the infield that translates well to first base to see if he could play that position or to see if he would be willing to play the position. I don't think it was wrong of them to ask that. I don't care what happened at third base with Alex Bregman at spring training. Okay, it happened. You move on. I think it's fine for the Red Sox to ask that question. I don't see anything wrong with that. However, I see RAFFY's point of view as well, where, hey, yeah, you know what? You took me off of third base. I got ready for this new spot that you wanted me to be in. I've been DH for a couple of months. I'm finally in a good routine. I'm seeing the ball better now. My plate discipline is better right now. I feel comfortable where I'm at. I don't feel comfortable moving to a position that, yeah, sure, it's on the opposite side of the infield. It translates well to third base translates well to first, but I got to learn all these things on the fly. I'm going to have to take my bumps and bruises with it. I don't think this is a good decision right now. I think that's fair for him to say. Don't think that's wrong. This is where both sides went wrong. The organization, the way they've been handling communication for kind of feels like for a while now, I don't think they communicated things very well. And also, I think too, it's also being firm about what you expect from your players, setting expectations from your players, including star players. You need to make it clear to your players that you have expectations. No, not just to play well, but to do what's good for the team. And the Red Sox have not made that clear, right? We'll talk about that in just a second. But for Raffy, I think he was completely wrong for calling out the front office yesterday. I don't think that was right at all. Craig Breslow has come in. In the end, say what you will about Craig Breslow, he made great moves this past offseason. Traded for Garrett Crochet. Was able to figure out how to sign Alex Bregman. You brought in Aroldis Chapman, who's been amazing in this bullpen. Made some other moves as well. Great offseason for Craig Breslow. He worked his butt off this past offseason. He was in the weeds with everything. Juan Soto was a possibility. I mean, yeah, that's more ownership tied in as well. But still, Craig Breslow, he was getting praise all over the place. And for Raffy, because he was asked to do something for the team, so he calls out the front office? I mean, what are we doing? I mean, you don't do that. It's fine. It's okay to be upset about it. I'm not saying you can't be upset, but that's not the way you handle your personal feelings. You don't air it out in the public. You keep it behind closed doors, especially when I feel like they didn't really do anything wrong. Yeah, if they start I don't know, saying oh, Raffy, you're a terrible Raffy's a terrible teammate, blah blah blah. Yeah, if they're saying all that stuff, then okay, fine, you can say whatever the heck you want back. But it seemed like to me they approached him in a pretty respectful way. They're trying to win. Don't think there was anything wrong with them asking it. So I think Raffy was wrong for saying I don't know what the GM's doing. I don't know what these decisions are that he's making. I don't know what he has against me. What are we talking about? What are we doing? I don't know. That just kind of, that doesn't sit well with me. And then you don't even you call him the GM. The GM. He said the GM instead of Craig. You can't refer to him by his name? I don't know. That just feels weird to me. So again, I think there were things that were wrong on both sides, but I think there were things that were right on both sides as well. I'm not saying Raffy can't feel the way he feels. I think it's fair. If you don't feel comfortable with it, if you don't think it's a good decision, that's okay to have that opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. But then to go out and start saying all this stuff, saying airing this stuff out when I don't think it was really deserved, I don't know. I don't agree with it. That's just me. But in the end, I've seen opinions from both sides. People defending Raffy, against Raffy, for the front office, against the front office. In the end, think about it. What do we all want here as Red Sox fans, in the chat, at home, wherever you may be? What do we want the Red Sox to do? What's the simple answer? We want the Red Sox to win. What is the one move that is going to help the Red Sox win? It's going to be the move that helps the team. That's the most important thing. We could sit here and we can criticize every little thing and try to find loopholes with every little thing, but it's all under one branch, and that's winning. And at the end of the day, like the old saying goes, there's no I in team. How long have we heard that for? I know it's an old saying, it's cheesy, but it stands the test of time. At the end of the day, sure, maybe you don't feel comfortable with it, but if the team wants you to do it and they're paying you this much money, And no, I'm not saying because they're paying you, that means you have to do everything they say. But if they're paying you that much money, they at least deserve, if they feel that you could and should do something, then they have expectations of you. And I think at the very least, if they're asking you to do something, I think you should sit down and maybe try to find an answer, or at the very least, try to find some middle ground. That's kind of where I'm at. In the end, Raffy going to first base makes the most sense. Sure. Is it unfair that he's got to go learn the position? Is it comfortable? No, it's not. It's not fair. Life isn't fair sometimes. Is it comfortable? No, it's not. It's going to take time to learn it. He's going to go out there and he's going to make some errors, and he's not going to have there's going to be some games where, kind of like I'm talking about Connor Wong tonight. I could see some people out there thinking, oh man, Raffy, a couple errors tonight. What are we doing? Yeah, you're going to have those nights, man. But in the end, where this brings value is it opens up another spot on the team, DH, to be able to bring up Roman Anthony from the minor leagues, or perhaps bring back Masataka Yoshida. I would love a bat like Masataka Yoshida right now. A guy that can make contact, that can get on base, that works the counts. I feel like they're missing a bat like that. I would not mind Masataka Yoshida back in this lineup. And then I really wouldn't mind bringing up Roman Anthony and seeing what he can do, seeing what kind of damage he can do. Maybe you could even find a way to bring back both. I don't know. Listen, I love Ceddanne Rafaela in this lineup. I love the defense. I love the speed. But, right now, this offense, they can't seem to figure out a way to keep the mojo going every single game. So if that means sitting Ceddy Rafaela on the bench in favor of Roman Anthony, Duran center, Anthony out and left, then okay. Then we do that. And then Ceddy, you work into the game a couple of times a week. At the end of the day, the point of what I'm saying here, it's all about the team. You set aside your own differences because there's 25 other guys in that locker room that want to win as well. Do you think these guys like coming here and they're, seeing the Liam Fennessy pure mid meme, even though I find it funny every single time? But do you think these guys like being at 500 when they know they have the talent in the locker room? No. They want to win. And I guarantee there's a couple of guys in that locker room that are thinking like, dude, you can't play first. Like, you know what I mean? I guarantee there's at least a couple. I don't know, man. Like, to me, it's all about winning. Kevin Millar said it great. He had a great little speech on Intentional Talk today on MLB Network. He said, listen, when you're on this team, you're going to war with your teammates. You're going out there to try and win a championship. That's what we all want. Raffy going to first base makes the team better. I think he would be fine at first base with time. Yes, and I think it's fair to give him all the time he needs. Give him a few weeks. Give him a month. Give whatever. Get to the point where you can be comfortable. All right? Figure it out. June, middle of June, that's cool, right? Still a lot of time, a lot of season left at that point. Deadline, hey, go make a move, bring in some other players that can, maybe help out in whatever role it may be. But to me, that's the best move. I think it needs to happen. And honestly, I guarantee, let's get back to John Henry here. I guarantee you, John Henry, I wouldn't be surprised if one of the questions was, what is your goal here? Like, what are you looking to achieve here? Why are you a Boston Red Sox? Why did you sign an extension with us? Do you want to win? I guarantee there was some kind of a question along those lines. But I also think there was probably a question too of, hey, what's going on? What's bugging you? How can we help you? Where can we fix things? Tell us what we need to do. But at the same time, I guarantee he asked him like, hey, what is it that you want to achieve here? Are you looking to just put together, your own Hall of Fame resume? Or are you also looking to win some championships along the way? You had 2018, but since then, you haven't led this team to another championship. I know it takes 25 other guys, but, hey, that team was, yeah, I mean, my goodness, we all know that team in 2018, but, RAFFY, I'm not taking anything away from him, but at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is, does he want more championships? I mean, to me, and that's another thing too, it's sort of like, let's say it was this way. Let's say RAFFY felt like he could move. Let's turn this like the other way around. Let's say RAFFY, feels that he could do something, but the team is holding him back from doing it. I think that would be a different conversation, right? But it's the team. Trust me, the team would not ask him to do it if they didn't think it was a good idea. I mean, you're looking at an organization that is extremely high on analytics. Do you think they're going to ask it? Like, if they thought it was a bad idea, do you think they would ask him that? No, they would absolutely not ask him that, because if they would have already asked someone else at this point. So yeah, if my team comes to me and says, hey, listen, we know we put Bregman at third. We know that. Okay. Well, Bregman was the better third baseman, but we think you are the best possible option for first base right now. Casas went down. We need someone to step up. We think you're that guy. If that's me, dude, I take that as a compliment. I take that as like, oh, wow, they think highly of me, highly enough. Sure, maybe I wasn't good enough for third base. I get that. Feelings got hurt, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'd be pretty bummed out too if I was the third baseman for a team for a long time and I got replaced. Anyone would be bummed out about that. Absolutely. Absolutely. I would feel that way too. But with time heals. And yeah, now you've come to another awkward point. But if that team came to me and said, hey, we value you enough to where we think you could do this job well, that to me would make me excited. Maybe that's just a mindset thing. I don't know. Because to me, I would look at it as a way as that's my chance for redemption. I obviously wasn't cut out for third base, but this could be my chance to show people that I can do something in the field well. And who knows, maybe you could even put together an extremely good resume defensively at first base. You saw Kevin Youkilis. I mean, so many people talk about how Kevin Youkilis moved from third to first, and he was so good there. Youkilis was amazing at first base. People still talk about that today. People look at all the praise that Bryce Harper got. Bryce Harper did not at all have to stay at first base. I've seen people say that, he was basically forced to stay at first base. No, he wasn't. If he told Dave Dombrowski that he wanted to stay in the outfield, he would be in the outfield. He would. But he came back early, by the way, Bryce Harper, to play first base so he can get back to the lineup and help the team, right? And then after that, he could have rehabbed more and he could have gone back out to the outfield, but he felt, and of course, the team said to him, hey, what do you think about staying at first base for the long term? We think it's going to keep you healthy. Tell us what you think. He could have said no. He could have said, listen, I really feel like I can bring you more value as an outfielder. But he said to himself, he swallowed his pride a little bit and said, you know what? That's going to be the better trade-off. My bat's going to be more fresh. I'm going to feel better. My arm's going to be fine. I'm going to feel less beat up. I'll stay at first base, and I'll show you how good of a first baseman I can be. That was the attitude from Bryce Harper. I'm just saying, man. I could talk about this all day, but at the end of the day, I'll get back to the word team. That's what matters. The Red Sox are not going to ask him to do something if they think it's going to hurt the team. They would go nowhere near it. But they did. So obviously they value the idea enough to where they think it's going to help the team. It clearly needs to happen. the Red Sox have been one bat short for the entire year. I think the Red Sox are one bat away from taking that next step. Tristan Casas was struggling the entire time while we're trying to figure something out with this offense. I am telling you, get one more productive bat into this lineup, and I think this team goes places. I really do. Because there's something that just kills these rallies along the way. There's going to be nights like tonight where sometimes you're not going to be able to figure it out, but it's very clear that you're just missing that one piece that's turning the gears. And that one bat could make all the difference. That's kind of where I'm at. It's been happening all year, and that was with Casas, and that's been without Casas. So that's where I'm at. Everybody, I'm going to wrap up that conversation, but really quick, do want to do a Game 2 preview. And we have a great pitching matchup tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. And we got Garrett Crochet. We got Cole Reagans on the mound. And wow, what a great matchup this is. Cole Reagans, one of the best pitchers in baseball last year. His FIP is a lot better than that ERA. His FIP is in the mid-twos, I believe. ERA is at a 3.79. Cole Reagans is legit. But Garrett Crochet, he's the kind of a guy where I feel like he looks at a matchup like this, and I think it's going to get him revved up, man. I'm expecting a big outing from Garrett Crochet tomorrow. Fermin is actually, he's got one extra base hit against him. But there's not a whole lot of experience against Crochet. As for Reagans, not really a whole lot either. We could see another pitching duel tomorrow. Wouldn't be surprised. But the Red Sox are going to have to find a way to win this game because you're obviously one loss away from losing this series. So I will say, everybody, I hate this. It dawned on me today. I might not be able to do a post-game show tomorrow. I actually am very upset about that because this is a really good pitching matchup. I have a close friend, close family friend that graduated, and she is having a graduation celebration tomorrow. Just finished nursing school, and it completely slipped my mind that was tomorrow. I might be back in time, possibly. I have to drive about like an hour and 15 minutes to get there. Starts at 4. So I might be able to get back. The game's at 7 tonight. I think what was the start time tonight? 8:00. So I'm going to do my best to get back here tomorrow, but it's a to be determined. I'll do my best. I'll try my best to get back. Mark, Red Sox didn't handle Devers right. They publicly shopped for his replacement. And then when it came up that he was promised third base, they said, well, that was the previous GM. At the end of the day, you got to do what's best for the team. Alex Bregman was a better third baseman. That's what it is, man. You just saw Alex Bregman make a great play tonight, diving play. That's all you need to see right there. Sorry, Raffy's not making that play. It's just how it is, man. And that's true. The previous general manager, Chaim Bloom, president of baseball operations, that's what he told him. At the end of the day, though, it comes down to winning. And I understand it. Raffy's a prideful player. I get it. A lot of the, Latin players, that's something I love about Latin players, right? They're very prideful about their game. I love that. But at the same time, if you're being a detriment to the team, if you're hurting your team, not offensively, I'm talking defensively here, then listen, yes, at some point, I think you got to be a little bit more self-aware. Sorry, if I stunk at something and I was cooking up the joint, with, my poor performance, I got to look in the mirror and I got to say, listen, I'm not getting the job done. What can I do to make the team better? Where would I be a better fit? All right. I was a teacher for a long time. And believe it or not, I was much more comfortable when I taught second grade. When it came to the upper grades, like, it was fine. I taught, fourth grade for a couple of years, but my comfort zone always was second grade. I was better there. I don't know why. I could just explain. I don't know. I mean, obviously, it was slightly easier things to teach, but I felt like I could explain things in a better way to second grade students, But I wasn't. But when my principal asked if I could move to fourth grade, who knows? Maybe she thought I would be. She told me that she thought I would be a better fit in fourth grade. At the end of the day, I listened to my boss. And if they felt like I was going to be a better fit somewhere, then okay, I'm going to listen to that. That's kind of my answer for that. I think maybe there needs to be a bit more self-awareness with things. Don't mean to be a shot at RAFFY there, but at the end of the day, the numbers spoke, and it wasn't like he was kind of hanging around in the middle. He was near the bottom of Major League Baseball when it came to his numbers. So, like, you don't really have an argument. That's like me if I'm teaching a certain grade and my test scores were terrible, I don't really have an argument. I could maybe find these little loopholes like, oh, these kids, they didn't sleep that night, or they didn't, he didn't have breakfast today. Like, yeah, okay, sure, you're going to have exceptions. But when you're consistently having results that were awful, I mean, something's got to give, That's just me. But then the fact that he gets an opportunity to redeem himself in a different role, that to me is amazing, right? So that's like me, if my principal told me, hey, we don't think you're very good at teaching second grade, but we think you'd be pretty good at fourth. Okay. All right, let's try it out. Mid-year, if, principal comes back to me, hey, one of our third grade teachers quit. We have, another teacher here that can teach fourth grade. They have experience there. Would you be willing to go to third? Yeah, whatever you need me to do. Like that. Funny enough, that conversation has actually happened with me before. It ended up not happening. I remember there was a middle of it was like the first couple of months of my of the school year. I was asked about the idea of moving to another grade. Then yeah, like I told him sure. Yeah, like whatever you need me to do. It ended up not happening. Right now, if they asked me to go teach kindergarten, that wasn't something I wanted to do. That was too young. Second grade was like the lowest I could do. That was it for me personally as a teacher. Anyway, but I could keep rambling about this stuff. I think I'm just tired. I'm kind of almost sleep talking here. But everybody, I'm going to wrap it up right there. That was a long one for tonight. Do want to say thank you for coming out here. Obviously, not a great game tonight. It is what it is. They'll come back tomorrow, and let's see what they can do. On the bright side, hey, it's frustrating when they're inconsistent, but maybe this means they'll come out with a better performance tomorrow. We'll see. Everybody, I'm out of here. Go enjoy the rest of your night. Again, it'll be a game time decision for tomorrow. I'll see if I can make it back here in time. And if I do, I'll see you then.